What? I can sit here. You can shut down all the parking on the street, but you can't stop me sitting in front of my bins. No, you can't. I'm going to sit here. What do I want? Bins. When do I want them? Now. What do I want? Bins. When do I want them? Now. Yeah. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2026. So I thought I'd start the new year with some predictions. Mainly because in the run up to Christmas, I was asked by my mates at the Marketing Unfiltered newsletter to come up with a few, me and a bunch of other really great marketers. So basically a bunch of really great marketers and some douche with bins. But I thought I'd kind of roll them out, start the year with them and see what you think. So my first prediction is that AI is going to bring around a revolution of brand marketing. It's going to bring it back to life. Let me tell you why. So what we're seeing with how people are using AI assistants and how AI is now fully incorporated within search is that having a brand, having your values, having your content out there is more valuable because the AI is now choosing what it believes is the right or best brand for you. So rather than searching and scrolling down, more and more people, and it's estimated that up to 70% of direct traffic has died through SEO since kind of integration of AI assistants in search. More and more people are just going for what AI is recommending. And when there's a kind of flat path for that, those that are going to win are those that are leaning into their brand more. You need to be there. You need to be visible. You need to be distinctive. You need to be memorable. And you need to be differentiated. So with all the negative that's being talked about, and some of it with good cause, some of it not, I think it is going to bring about more brand marketing. And that can only be a good thing. Because one thing that we know, trained marketers know, is that brand is what makes the difference for growth. It's not about playing the same old performance marketing tactics over and over. There's a plateau for them. We know that. It's all been proven. But there are still plenty of people out there in the marketing space or in the business space without an understanding of actual marketing, not just marketing theory, but practical marketing. So that's my first suggestion. My second prediction is also about AI because how can it not be in some ways, right? It's everywhere. It's all we're hearing all the time. But I think the use of AI, the misuse of AI, is going to create much more homogenized categories. So AI is great at doing things. What AI isn't so great at doing is thinking or thinking outside the box. They're large language models. They're looking for the most obvious result, the most clear recommendation. And quite often that's not what we do as marketers. We look for the kind of extreme cases. So I think misuse of AI for strategy and for creative is going to mean that we're going to see more and more sea of same in terms of branding, notwithstanding what I mentioned about the search earlier. But we're going to see more and more sea of same within branding, and we're going to see more and more sea of same with strategy. And that's going to leave the door open for smart marketers. Because there's nothing easier when you're trying to win in a category than seeing that it's all the same, that there's no distinctive, there's no differentiation, there's no, I guess, mental availability, really. And in some cases, there's very little physical availability. So for those that are going to play against the grain, zig to everyone else's zag, I think there's a real opportunity to lean into the humanity, because that's what marketing is. Okay, let's go back to this once more. Marketing is about the market. The market are people that buy. They're people first. People are driven by emotion. They're not driven by functions or features. They're driven by benefits and emotional outcomes, okay? And for the smart marketers that are able to persuade the board to go that way, against a sea of same, I think there's real opportunity to win. And I've talked before about kind of, how to analyze a category for, to find the white space to be distinctive, how to develop a tone of voice that's going to stand against everybody else. Okay. And so I see that as a real potential win for humans in the loop. While I mentioned humans in the loop, I want to extend on from that. I just want to kind of give a quick shout out to John Bennett, who is a friend of mine, a former client, and who is a bit of a visionary when it comes to AI. And I'm reading his book at the moment, and it talks about the ha-ha approach to AI. Human, AI, human, AI, human. And I'm working on this myself at the moment and kind of developing some tools. And the whole thing about making it work is you start with a human prompt, you take the AI output, you then revise it as a human, you take the output, and you might go over this cycle many times. And I still am with my particular hat GPT. That's right, you see it coming soon. Before you get to the human acceptance that the output is what it needs to be. Okay, so AI is a fantastic tool, or a set of fantastic tools. I'm a big user of Perplexity for deep research, ChatGPT for repeat functions, and it can be good at kind of bouncing ideas off or triggering ideas, but it can never take the place of the human in terms of having the strategy and the emotion, because it just doesn't. Well, I say never, who knows, but certainly what we see now is it doesn't. So I think a big opportunity for humans there. And the final one isn't AI. Way, not AI. It's about kind of how people work and how people handle and employ talent. So I think we're going to see more use of specialist consultants and fractionals in 2026. The reason being is that, in the current global economy, I think people are wary of committing to long-term positions and salaries. They want the ability to switch on and switch off, and they want the ability to pick and choose. So, having a fractional that works 1 or 2 days a week is already more cost effective than a full-time person. Cost effective, not necessarily effective. Depends on the fractional. I'm great, by the way. But also it means that you can hire not just for category expertise, which we're seeing increasingly being the case. And I don't necessarily think that's a healthy thing, but it's out there. But also business stage. A young business might not need a really experienced strategic CMO. They might need someone that can roll their sleeves up, do a bit of kind of CRO action, kind of maybe a RevOps engineer, and then look at a CMO further down the line. So I think we're likely to see kind of more fractional work out there, and more fractionals working together and supporting each other. So if there's more and more businesses growing, we know this since the birth of the internet, we've had an exponential rise of new businesses hit the market, and that's just increased with AI. As it's becoming easier to take an idea and create a product. But what a lot of these ideas and what a lot of these products don't have is an understanding of the market, product market fit, and how to get to market. And so the fractional community, and there's some great fractional communities out there, by the way, I think is going to start to see more and more interest as we go through 2026 and beyond. So that's my predictions for 2026. Feel free to challenge them or suggest your own. Would love to hear what you guys have to say. I think I'm going to pack up and go in shortly because it's freezing out here. Even Hat has a hat on. But, I've got to finish my protest first, haven't I? What do we want? Bins. When do we want them? Now. What do we want? Bins. When do we want them? Now. What do we want? Bins. Oggy, oggy, oggy. Off my road.